Alright, so in quadratics, there are multiple ways of solving. And this one's called the square root method, or the square root rule. You may take the square root of both sides of an equation, provided you use the plus and minus on one side. Warning, if you're using the square root method, you had better, what does that say? Remember, can't remember. Remember the plus or minus. Forgetting the plus or minus won't be tolerated. I added this example of the triangle. Class, what type of triangle do you have? Right triangle. Define. If I have two given sides of a right triangle, I can use the Pythagorean theorem. C value is always across the right angle. This is your B, this is your A. A's and B's don't matter. C is across the right angle. So I have C squared equals 3 squared plus 4 squared. C squared equals 9 plus 16. Add those together. C squared equals 25. You take the square root. Okay. Even in this class, we would normally say that the answer is what? 5. But there's a gap here. I left a gap here because that's the information that we neglect. The answer is C equals plus or minus 5. Remember, it's saying two numbers, when I square them, equal 25. It could be both positive 5, 5 squared equals 25, or negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 5 equals a positive 25. Here in the Pythagorean theorem, we only take the positive answer. So I'm showing that to you because I think it's bad habits. Let's try another example. X squared equals 5. To get rid of the exponent, I'm going to have to take the square root. So I'm applying the square root rule. These are opposites. In some ways they cancel. So x equals plus or minus radical 5. What does the plus or minus mean? It means there are two solutions. How many, class?
Two.
There's a positive radical 5. Normally you don't write positive, but I'm trying to make a point. And a negative radical 5. So there's actually two solutions. Let's go on to our third example. Parentheses, x plus 2 squared equals 5. Just like the absolute value equation, you want to make sure it's isolated. What does that mean? That there are no anything in front and nothing behind. Your temptation is, I saw many students on, they might want to try to distribute the exponent. Okay, that would not work because the power rule of exponents, the difference between these two examples is that one has a plus sign, the other one doesn't. So you can distribute the 2 in this problem. That's okay because these are exponents. Exponents are by multiplication. You could not do it in this problem because there's addition. Okay, so you're not going to take the 2 and then distribute. Bad, don't do it. Another way you could solve the problem, may give yourself some more work, is having x plus 2 times x plus 2. There's two of them, right? What I want you to see is that in this problem is that I can just take the square root of both sides. Now that doesn't work all the time, but in those methods you want to pick up on it so it's easier. I'm just left with the argument x plus 2 equals, what do I write on the right side? Plus or minus radical 5. And now I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Pay attention. X equals negative 2 plus or minus radical 5. I put the negative 2 in front of the plus and minus. I didn't put it to the right because I don't want it to be confused that it's inside. And this is my answer. So when do you use the square root rule? Most of the time you'll use it when you don't really have, in a trinomial, you don't have a b value. Or you'll notice you just have like an a and a c value of quadratic equations.